Here are the top stories for today, May 1st, 2020. President Rodrigo Duterte is appealing to the business sector to provide workers with a stable and humane working conditions. The Philippines strongly protests Chinese self-declared districts in South China Sea. President Duterte acknowledges free speech amid the criticisms posted by an OFW in Taiwan. And find out how a tricycle driver used his financial aid to start a new business. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte called on the business sector to give workers stable career and humane working conditions in observance of Labor Day. Duterte made the appeal on Friday, saying Filipino workers must reap the rewards of their contribution to the country. Labor Day, which is celebrated every May 1st, reaffirms the government's commitment to upholding the rights of the labor force. In his Labor Day message, Duterte reminds everyone in the business sector of their shared responsibility in improving the lives of our workers by providing them stable career opportunities and humane working conditions. The president also extended his warmest greetings to all Filipino workers in the country and abroad. And in line with the celebration of Labor Day, Malacanang says workers can exercise the right to air their grievances as long as they follow quarantine protocols. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said instead of the usual massive assembly, labor groups can also stage their annual Labor Day protests online. Several labor groups such as Kilusang Mayo Uno and Nagkaisa Labor Coalition are planning an online protest instead of the traditional gathering at the Mendiola Peace Arc in the city of Manila. The Bukluran and Manggagawang Pilipino, meantime, is encouraging workers to join the noise barrage on Labor Day by banging empty pots and pans in front of their homes. Labor groups are demanding for paid quarantine leave, guaranteed income, and hazard pay amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Roque said the government is crafting a recovery plan for workers. As of April 29, around 2.3 million workers have been displaced due to COVID-19 outbreak. Meanwhile, the country's military chief also thanked all workers, especially those at the front lines. AFP Chief of Staff General Felimon Santos Jr. said the Filipino spirit of resiliency lives on and is exemplified by the heroic efforts of the country's workforce. He also took this opportunity to honor the unwavering resolve of our uniformed service members who continue to combat head-on dangers posed by COVID-19, but also the virus of communist terrorism and violent extremism. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año on Thursday maintained that the enhanced community quarantine has saved a lot of people from the deadly coronavirus disease. Año said the country's confirmed COVID-19 cases continue to increase because the government has improved its testing capacity, which is now at 6,300 tests per day, and the ECQ being imposed throughout Luzon and in some areas of Visayas and Mindanao has helped slow down its spread in the country. He said the government decided to extend the ECQ in select areas, including Metro Manila, up to May 15 to further stop the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Aside from Metro Manila, ECQ was extended in Central Luzon except Aurora, Calabarzon, Pangasinan, Benguet, Iloilo Province, Iloilo City, Bacolod City, Cebu Province, Cebu City, and Davao City until May 15. Other areas that are not under ECQ will be placed under less stringent general community quarantine. Malacanang called on the temporary suspension of religious activities in areas that will be placed under general community quarantine beginning May 1st. And the Department of Transportation laid out its guidelines for public transportation in low-risk areas. More on this from Chris Mundo.
Malacanang on Thursday called on the temporary suspension of religious activities in areas that will be placed under general community quarantine beginning May 1. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque made the appeal following concerns from local officials and lawmakers about the planned resumption of religious activities in areas where GCQ will be imposed. Roque said there were mounting calls to suspend religious activities during the GCQ because such move would defeat the purpose of containing COVID-19 in the country. He agreed to the plan to suspend religious activities in areas under GCQ and would ask the IATF-EID to reconsider its decision on the resumption of essential work gatherings and religious activities. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation laid out its guidelines for public transportation in low-risk areas. In an online briefing on Thursday, DOTR Undersecretary Artemio Tuazon Jr. said the guidelines, pending the signing of President Duterte, will allow the gradual reopening of public transportation in GCQ areas, while area under ECQ will still be denied the operation of public transport. Tuazon said the new rules require a special permit for public utility vehicles before its operation and the reduction of passenger capacity for buses, jeeps, and UV Express to 50% in adherence to a 1-meter physical distancing rule. Taxis and TNVS will be allowed to carry a maximum of 2 passengers, 1 passenger for tricycle, while motorcycle taxis are still banned. All drivers are required to wear face masks and should be protected further by a plastic or acetate wall to separate him or her from passengers, while all passengers are also required to wear face masks or be denied entry to PUVs. Automatic fare collection will be encouraged, and if not available, passengers will be required to pay the driver first before boarding the vehicle. Those who exhibit signs of low-grade fever or worse will also not be allowed to board PUVs, and foot baths will be required in passenger loading areas. In other news, Malacanang on Thursday enumerated the individuals who are allowed to travel in areas that are under ECQ and GCQ from May 1 to 15. Roque said people who are exempted from the new rule are health workers, government officials and government frontline personnel, those traveling for medical or humanitarian reasons, those transiting to the airport for travel abroad, and workers providing essential goods and services and public utilities. Also exempted are essential skeletal workforce, repatriated OFWs and other returning Filipinos, and workers in the logistics sector. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Still to come, the Philippines strongly protests Chinese self-declared districts in South China Sea. And NEDA sees a positive economic growth amid the global pandemic. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Kakagaling ko lang ng grocery. Siyempre, hindi ko hahayaan na pumasok ang COVID-19 sa bahay at mapahamak ang pamilya ko. Kaya iiwan ko ang sapatos ko sa labas. At ngayon, maghuhugas ako ng kamay ng 20 seconds. O ayan, wala na ang virus. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin na nakasalalay. Let's heal as one.
Alam niyo ba na pumapasok ang COVID-19 sa ating katawan sa pamamagitan ng mata, ilong at bibig? Kaya lagi kaming conscious dito sa bahay kapag umuubo kami. Lagi kami naghuhugas ng kamay in 20 seconds. Pag lumalabas kami, lagi namin suot ang mask. Lagi lang natin tatandaan mga mamshi. Buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's heal as one.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at nang himpilang ito.
The Department of Foreign Affairs on Thursday strongly protested China's self-declared districts in the South China Sea, as well as the naming of features in the Kalayaan Island group. In a statement, the DFA says the Philippine government strongly protests the establishment of the so-called districts of Nansha and Xisha under the supposed administrative jurisdiction of its self-declared Sansha City, announced by China on April 18, 2020. It says the creation of Sansha City alone violates Philippine territory sovereignty over the Kalayaan Island Group and Bajo de Masinloc and infringes on its sovereign rights over the waters in the West Philippine Sea. It also dismissed as illegal the designation of Cagitingan Reef within the KIG as administrative center for the so-called Nansha district. In our business news, NEDA Chief and Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua is optimistic on hitting a positive economic growth in the first quarter of 2020 amid the enhanced community quarantine. Chua says he was hopeful the economy likely posted growth above zero in the January to March period, but was not sure of to what extent. Chua cited three factors that affect the economy. First is the volcano eruption, where 50% of the country's GDP depends on that area. He says the country was allowed some time to recover when the emission from the volcano hit areas did not erupt continuously. Second is the quarantine in China, which resulted in the decline in trade and tourism. And the third is our ECQ in March. Chua says all of these factors are basically affecting the prospects for a very good GDP number, but says he is expecting positive or above zero economic growth in the first quarter, was much lower compared to this year's target GDP growth of 6 to 7%. The government will release the first quarter GDP performance on May 7. And more from the business sector, San Miguel Corporation has tapped its fuel subsidiary, PETRON Corporation, to help further boost food accessibility throughout the country by selling farmers' produce in its gas stations. The initiative is an expansion of San Miguel Foods Incorporated's Manukang Bayan rolling store concept. SMC President and COO Ramon Ang said food accessibility was also an issue the company worked to address early into the COVID-19 crisis. To date, 30 stations have been used to bring food products closer to communities and provide people alternative ways to buy essential goods during the quarantine. It has also started identifying key stations in Metro Manila that will sell farmers' produce such as fruits and vegetables under the Department of Agriculture's Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita rolling market program. The company is looking to utilize as many stations to bring more produce to more communities. The Iglesia ni Cristo has turned over the use of the Mega Patient Care Center built at the group-owned Philippine Arena in Bulacan. Here is our report.
Patients infected with coronavirus disease 2019 in Central Luzon and adjacent areas may now be accommodated at the Philippine Arena Mega Patient Center in Bocaue, Bulacan. The We Heal as One Center was turned over on Thursday by the Iglesia ni Cristo to the national government after its completion in just 10 days. National Task Force COVID-19 Chief Implementer and Presidential Peace Advisor Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. has thanked the INC for its generosity. The facility is the third patient care center to be built in Central Luzon after the ASEAN Convention Center in Clark, Pampanga, and the National Government Administrative Center in New Clark City, Capas, Tarlac. Meanwhile, the Antique provincial government will purchase 15 million pesos of test kits for frontliners fighting COVID-19. Antique Governor Rodora Cadiao said the Integrated Provincial Health Office is now preparing the purchase request for the test kits. She said health workers assigned in the 8 district hospitals in the province and for the Antiqueños, including capital employees, will be a priority in the distribution of the test kits. In other news, the Department of Agriculture in Davao Region has distributed the 5,000 peso cash aid to some 6,000 rice farmers who are affected by the rice tariffication law. DA Region 11 said the agency's rice farmers' financial assistance started on April 27 and will continue until all rice farmer beneficiaries get the cash assistance through the Land Bank of the Philippines. It said the RFFA is not a loan program but unconditional cash assistance to farmers affected by the RTL. It is also not related to any COVID-19 pandemic assistance. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
Up next, President Duterte acknowledges free speech amid the criticisms posted by an OFW in Taiwan. And find out how a tricycle driver used his financial aid to start a new business. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Mga mommies, pagdating sa COVID-19, dapat hindi tayo kampante. Bagamat hindi nakikita ang sakit na ito ay nakamamatay. At hanggang ngayon wala pa rin lunas. Kaya protektahan natin ang ating pamilya. Laging maghugas ng kamay, huwag hahawakan ng mukha, at manatili sa bahay para makaiwas sa sakit na ito. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's hear this one.
Hi Caps! Kamusta?
Well, ito dahil sa COVID-19, medyo stress.
Okay lang yan, Caps. Napagdaanan ko din yan.
Ano kaya pwede natin gawin, no?
Kung nararamdaman mo na gulong-gulo ka na sa mga naririnig mo, sa mga nababasa mo, mag-pause ka muna, saka ka huminga ng malalim.
Buti na lang tumawag ka. Iba talaga pag may nangangamusta.
A strong body starts with a strong mind.
Tama. Let's heal as one.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Malacanang says President Rodrigo Duterte respects the freedom of speech of Filipinos who are critical of him, including the Filipino caregiver in Taiwan who criticized the government's response to COVID-19. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the president, as a lawyer, recognizes free speech since the very beginning. Philippine Labor Attaché Fide Macauyag on April 25 sought the deportation of caregiver Elanel Egot Ordidor for posting nasty and malevolent criticisms against Duterte on social media. Taipei's Ministry of Foreign Affairs rejected the deportation's request, saying freedom of speech is enjoyed by both citizens and migrant workers in Taiwan. Roque said the palace would leave Ordidor's fate to Taiwanese authorities. In our foreign news, the International Monetary Fund calls on all governments to ensure that fiscal measures against COVID-19 are harmonized to combat climate change and ensure an environmentally sustainable recovery from the pandemic. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva on Wednesday said taking measures now to fight the climate crisis is a must-have for the next generation. She cited as an example the need to reduce carbon emissions while providing financial lifelines to carbon-intensive companies as current oil prices reach record low levels. In promoting green finance, Georgieva said the world should focus on using green bonds and other forms of sustainable finance. Financial firms have to be mandated to better disclose climate risks in their lending and investment portfolios. Georgieva also said that better ways of pricing in climate risk should be found. The Philippine Coconut Authority has approved the release of a 1.4 million peso budget as part of a study project to help curb the spread of COVID-19. The project will focus on validating earlier studies on virgin coconut oil and its potential in fighting COVID-19. VCO is believed to have highly potent antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal qualities. PCA will provide all the quality VCO to be used for the study. It shall also support all the clinical laboratory tests of the subjects. Agriculture Secretary William Dar said the success of this research will not only heal COVID-19 patients, but will also be an antidote to poverty in coconut growing communities. The PCA is also looking into the use of coconut-based ethyl alcohol or ethanol as an effective disinfectant for hospitals and patient care centers. A 36-year-old tricycle driver from Barangay Puliat, Quezon City went viral on social media for using the government's cash aid to make a living amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Samad Maulana, a native of Talican, Maguindanao, received 2,000 pesos under the Quezon City government's Kalingang QC program that was intended for those affected by the enhanced community quarantine. He used the money to start a barbecue business where he and his brother earn up to 1,200 pesos a day. He now sells ripe mangoes, saba bananas, and fresh vegetables. Maulana said that once the quarantine is lifted, he wants to go back to driving his tricycle, but he also wants the business to continue. He said his family and his faith in God inspire him to improve his livelihood in these trying times. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Rodrigo Duterte is appealing to the business sector to provide workers with a stable and humane working conditions. The Philippines strongly protests Chinese self-declared districts in South China Sea. President Duterte acknowledges free speech amid the criticisms posted by an OFW in Taiwan. And find out how a tricycle driver used his financial aid to start a new business. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day and stay at home.